Welcome to the Find Your Flow podcast. Hello. Hi there, Azlynn Berry. Welcome to Find Your Flow. Thanks for being here with me.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really glad to be here.
Excellent. Well, I ask one question and then I see where the conversation takes us. And that is, what does Find Your Flow mean to you?
Okay, so we're just going to kind of dive deep immediately because I'm not really a
Yay.
surface level person. So I hope you're ready for the ride. Find your flow, to me, is the center of your creativity and your authenticity. It's a place where you are not edited in any way, shape, or form. So it doesn't matter if this is business, if this is your daily life, if you're skipping down the street or dancing through a grocery store, which is one of the weird things that I personally do whenever I'm happy. It's uncontrolled. I'll just be sitting there all of a sudden oh, people are joining me. Whoops. Here we
Azlynn,
are.
I love that. I love to hear that because I do the exact same thing. I secretly, not so secretly, wish I lived in a musical.
We have a mutual friend, and their influence just kind of drives this idea that being a Disney princess and over animated is just a wonderful way to be.
I mean, amen. I always think of my sister-in-law who um is a dancer, was in musical theater,
Oh,
lived on the
beautiful.
stage, and she is someone that I admire and has
Mm-hmm.
inspired me for so many years. And she too, she is the woman who you can find pushing a cart in a grocery store who immediately goes into an arabesque or her foot is up over her head while she's reaching for tomatoes. It's the most beautiful thing.
I love this. I have a group of friends that I train aerial acrobatics with.
Mm.
So that's lyra, hoop. They do silks. I'm not that strong. I joke and say that I'm a lazy aerialist. I like the apparatuses where you can lay back versus constantly climbing. Um, but one of the things that I found that's probably my favorite out of this entire group is we randomly yell positivity at strangers. Because when we're training, we can't see each other. We can't see ourselves. We only have that outside perspective. When we're in it, we're okay, turn, lift, twist, and it's difficult. You're up there kind of grunting and really pushing yourself to kind of hit this position. And then your whole team starts screaming at you. You're okay, I did that right. And the more of us that get together, it just becomes a habit where somebody will walk by and we'll just yell, I love your outfit.
That's so fantastic. That is that I think that that's a beautiful expression.
We're an
And if that's
interesting
how
group of
you
people.
Oh, I love it. And if that's how you experience and share flow, the flow state, I am
Mm,
down for that.
yeah. It's that
Fantastic.
authenticity. It's completely unedited, where your full version of yourself, your inner child, your matron, whatever it is, all the aspects of you come together and they're just in a state of, I want to say ecstatic, but I don't want to put another word
Mm.
after it because it could be any emotion, right? It could be
Yeah,
bliss,
yeah.
it could be joy, it could be anger, just raw, representing yourself without having to hold back, without the desire to push yourself down, to be quiet, to reserve, to make yourself fit into a box that makes other people comfortable. It's having the knowing and the ability that if I express myself, that's where I'm supposed to be. And this is the natural state of myself. And I have enough authority over who I am to do what is right in each moment without violating
Oh,
yourself. Does that make sense?
that makes perfect sense to me. That for
Yeah.
me, that's just beautiful expression.
Yeah. Yeah. In
So I
anything.
think that that's in anything, right? I think that's a beautiful segue into Azlynn Berry, who are you? What do you do? And how do you work in service of others? Because I can't wait to dive into what it is that you do and your expression of service.
So I'm going to experiment a little bit right now. So I created a framework called emotional architecture. It is my specific blend of life experience that brought me to what I do now. So I'm a transformational coach, and I specialize in emotional integration. But what I do is I
Mm,
identify people's individual triggers. So we'll sit down and find out where it is that you feel stuck and where it is that you want to go in life. And then I identify the areas where basically your prefrontal cortex, your mind, and your body are not in agreement. Because if your body is trying to protect you, your mind is not online, and you make the same instinctual reactions over and over and over again. So that's why a lot of people fall into very specific patterns, why they date the same person, or they have
mm.
certain types of relationships, whether it's at work or personal life, and they kind of repeat those patterns. It's because in that state, we create the same mistake. So I help identify those triggers and I deconstruct those triggers. I was a neuromuscular therapist. Technically, I still am. So I specialize in retraining the nervous system in the body after accident and injury. I specialize in long-term chronic pain. And I realized when I was working with my clients that I could dive into these triggers and their muscle memory would come back the same every single week, no matter
Mm.
the physical therapy, the chiropractic, didn't matter what it was they were doing. If we didn't actually change the way that they held and acted and reacted, then they lived in the same amounts of pain and the same patterns of pain. Because if you think about your physical movement and your expression of how you feel every day as a muscle memory, a literal muscle memory, you're creating the same emotions, you're carrying yourself the same way. If you're really depressed, you kind of have that like hunched over, like you don't look people in the eye, you avoid eye contact. If you have
Mhm.
somebody with like pain in their neck and their shoulder, they won't be able to rehabilitate until they start meeting people eye to eye, until they start to lift up and get out of their phone or whatever it is that they use to kind of like push people away. So I started working on those aspects with my clients through postural exercises, kind of tricking them into it for years. I would trick them into it. I'd be like, okay, well, do this postural exercise, and I want you to do this one in the car, and I want you to do this one in the grocery store, and I want you to do this one as soon as you walk into work, and started to kind of wire their emotional reactions. And it started to peel back. People that had 10 plus years of chronic pain would be gone in 6 to 10 weeks. Gone.
So using the body
Yep.
as a tool
Yep.
to
Absolutely.
release these kinds of trauma. Is that correct?
I use it like a mapping system. So I can look at your posture. I can kind of look at the way that you carry and hold yourself, and the body will always tell on you. So if we're having a conversation
Mhm.
about where you're specifically stuck, I can watch your body emotionally react and act to where that trigger is. So if we say a specific sentence and then you start to slump or you start to dissociate or you start to stutter, there's a lot of different signs, right, that come up. So I can see that. I can see that map. If I do body work on somebody now, it tells me an entire story. Like I really get
Mm.
so much information, and then we start working on kind of those behavioral patterns. But what I do now, because a lot of the work that I do is remote, um, is I give people environmental exercises that changes the way that they are feeling and helps kind of the subconscious take it in, which is the connection to the body and to that like deep memory and that deep knowing that is instinctual versus I'm going to tell my body to go left, where when you're scared your
Mhm.
body goes I'm running. in the opposite direction of anything that, right? You don't have control. You just bolt. There's that like area where that connection is created. So I will work on different exercises that are in the environments where your triggers are the most active and kind of move those throughout the day. So you're doing little tiny exercises while gaining some mental understanding, because we all like being able to feel like, oh, I understand this, even though understanding doesn't fully change anything if you can't change the
Right,
way that you
right.
feel. Yeah. So it's an interesting practice. It's a lot simpler than people would think that it is, because it's literally just a collection of these little 5-minute exercises and little prayers and things that are designed to kind of speak to that subconscious, that unconscious aspect that is holding an opposite belief about who we are. We have to just kind of slowly create safety and slowly feed the idea that something is different, and you will start to act and actually become that difference.
So is there an alignment between the physicality of an experience and the conscious understanding of that experience? So I guess you have trauma, for lack of a better word, but trauma in the
Mhm.
subconscious level that gets embodied, right? Somewhere in your
Yep.
body. And then that dictates physical behavior. Do you need to have that experience come back from the subconscious into the conscious and then have that translated through the body? Oh, well, hello. I love our guest. Hi.
Thank you. She was insisting and I was kind of fighting.
There's no sense in fighting it.
Yeah, she's here. She's beautiful. She's trying to extort me for treats. Um,
So, listeners, if you're only listening to this interview and you are not watching, a lovely little canine joined the scene here.
yeah. This is Pepper. She is a Corgi Terrier mix,
Oh,
and
hi,
she
Pepper.
loves people. And it's early for us. Usually we're in bed snuggling, but right now it's not happening.
She wants to know why. Why did her routine get messed up?
She knows the moment I put in the earphones and start looking at a screen that it's the opportune moment to get whatever she wants.
Of course. Of
She knows
course.
exactly how to extort me. Okay, so the question that you asked was very good. Can you rephrase it for me? I want to make sure that I understand so that I can.
Sure. Sure. So someone experiences a trauma in their life and that gets embodied somewhere, right? Somewhere in their
Yeah.
physicality. Say it's in their knees. And they come to you and they say, I've got chronic pain in my knees. Okay. And your expertise lies in, I can tell you exactly why your knees hurt. And it's a lot more than a breakdown of cartilage or arthritis, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever, tight ligaments. It's an experience. So does that client need to be able to remember and re-experience the trauma in order to process that trauma out
So
of their knees in order to
that
heal?
depends on the specific client, because
Got
some
it.
people will have that as a lot of them have it as a reoccurring emotion where it's kind of
Mhm.
detached from the very first moment that it happened, right? Because a lot of times you can take people back into their childhood and you can look at a specific thing and then you can kind of show them how it's repeating in their life. The more I do this work, I find the less necessary that specific aspect actually is, because it's still alive in their everyday. It's more important that they understand how it's happening now and how they're repeating that behavior than re-traumatizing them by pushing them back into the past and
Love that.
forcing them to relive a memory. Some people have that recall where the second they feel it, they're like, oh, I remember that. I remember that. I went through that when I was a kid, and they will instantly bring it forward. What I've found, what I've found is people have a tendency to Sorry, not people. Okay, this is the extortion part. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. You're adorable. Go lay down.
Get whatever you want.
Is it has a tendency to light up the connections, all of the other connections of how it's playing out in their life. And regardless of whether or not they want to, they're going to be facing how this has been living in their life in more than one area. So over the time frame that I usually work with people and make these very client-centered packages, right? So I work with them for about 6 to 8 weeks. Over that time period, all of those different areas will start to come up, and we will slowly peel everything back until we sit with the very core of it and start to face it together very specifically. Because once you can change the way that you experience it, if you can experience these things in kind of a playful manner, your muscle memory, instead of taking, say, 20 times of repetition or 30 times or 100 times of repetition of creating a new habit, you just need the 3 really high emotional spikes where you find your flow, right? So instead of being afraid of the trauma or whatever it is that's living inside you, you kind of walk up to it and kind of poke it and be like, oh yeah, you live there. This is your edge. This is your other edge.
And you're an awesome opportunity.
Right. I'm here and this is okay. Let's just try something different and see how it feels. You do that 3 times and it's wiped out. I've seen it even in my neuromuscular therapy clients where we would work through a cycle and then we'd get to a point and I'd have to sit people down and say, look, you are going to absolutely hate me. You are going to think that I'm the worst person that you've ever met. You are going to think that all of the progress that you had was absolutely for nothing. And you are going to think that you have completely regressed and fallen back and I've damaged you. And you're going to have all of these fears come up. And this is going to happen 3 times. After those 3 times, I need you to remember, not even after, I need you to remember that when this happens, I need you to remember this moment because that is when you spring forward. Instead of taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back and 1 step forward and 2 steps back, this is the moment where you step forward 10 steps. This is your springboard. This is the first time. Each time these things happen, it's going to happen 3 times. These are the big moments where the pattern actually breaks and you start to come back into alignment and your body starts to remember where it is and how to heal itself. Instead of relying on the patterns that make it feel safe, that actually keep you physically and mentally, emotionally in destructive patterns where it holds you in this compensation pattern. Like if you have someone whose lower back and hip is messed up, they're always going to compensate and go to the other side and not try to use it, which means the muscles are never going to actually strengthen enough to be able to hold it. So you're going to continually have the chronic pain from that one side. And it takes 3 of these kind of like cascades where the fear comes up really intensely and it hurts to learn something new. But if you remember that this is part of the process, and when you feel like you are the most lost is the moment where you're actually going to find yourself. And it's true for the emotional
That
as well.
breakdown into the breakthrough.
Yep. Tis the season.
Yeah. I know, tis the season for breakdown into breakthrough. You know, what's so interesting is this morning, I wrote a blog entry actually about the messiness of transformation. You know, I think we have this tendency to want to think of it as rainbows and unicorns, and it's actually the messiest, grittiest experience that you could ever possibly go through. And I think the dirtier it is, the better it is, because you're making that much progress. And if you can sort of just face fear and say, I'm not going to turn away. I'm not going to run away. I'm actually going to see you as an opportunity. Let's fucking go. Then there's so much healing that can take place there. I think as a society, we accommodate dysfunction. We're really good at accommodating dysfunction in all ways.
I could
So
really
to
go
be
down this
able
road.
to please do, because I think it's invaluable to have someone who can say, we're going to stop doing that. We're going to
Yeah.
stop accommodating dysfunction in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, and in your soul
We
to allow
have,
you to live
yeah.
a fuller life.
Yeah, yeah. When I'm working with people, one of the first things I do is I try to look at the whole person and their entire environment. But I'm really looking to find out how you either dissociate or push your feelings down. Do
Mm.
you like sugary snacks and overeat? And are you like creating severe emotional pitches by throwing off your blood sugar constantly, having really high highs and really low lows? Are you doom scrolling and just kind of numbing out what you feel and avoiding the world around you? Do you use it to like push people away? Like, as a society, we do that consistently, but I it could very easily like sound like a insane conspiracy theorist, but it would be a
So can
fun
I.
conversation. But we're kind of we are very rewarded in this society for those kinds of behaviors, even if it's like
For sure. Absolutely.
being a borderline alcoholic, right? Because there's an aspect of that is very, very, very accepted, but it becomes an entire lifestyle.
Yes.
It just, we're numbing everywhere you turn. And if you, like, to me, this was one of the things that I think scared me the most growing up, and just still even as an adult, the idea that I'm going to give my life a 9 to 5, I'm going to work for somebody else, and I'm just going to live in this box where I have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. I have to ask for permission to eat when I'm hungry. I have to ask for permission to take a holiday. I have to take away my holidays if I get sick. Like, all of these things was so difficult for me, but we have, an entire public that lives on this kind of cycle. And it makes sense to me
Yeah, it's
why
a
you would
crazy
numb with
paradigm to me.
TV. And yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. But
I
also
think
the
we're
other side of
taken
it is scary too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen. Absolutely. I think that we have to find a peaceful rhythm to everything. I'm right there with you.
Hmm.
I don't pretend to have the answers. Um, I don't pretend to bring answers to anyone through this podcast. It is simply here to empower the listener,
Yeah,
to say we
absolutely.
have these options. I am well aware that we are set up as humans so detached from our natural rhythm that as we make our way back, because I do believe we're in a state of this understanding and these ahas of people waking up and going, I don't think this is how I want to live my life. It just something doesn't feel right to me, but not knowing how else to do anything, because the only thing that we've ever been taught is the 9 to 5. Go ask somebody if you could do something as simple as go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Um, Learn to suppress even your natural state of hunger until it is appropriate to eat. And then everything is regulated, from socializing is regulated. I remember when I stopped drinking alcohol, and for me it was a no-brainer. For me it just felt like, why? I don't understand why. And not that I was a huge drinker, but it
Mm-hmm.
literally didn't make sense to me anymore. To Why would I do this? Feels
Mm-hmm.
like a poison, behaves like a poison. I'm just not going to poison myself.
Right.
And being met with utter confusion. Like, what are you doing? This is insanity. This is what we do for fun. Why would you ever do anything other than this?
Right.
And it takes that fortitude of the individual to be able to do what's right for you. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the whole
Mm-hmm.
point of this podcast, is to
Yeah.
show options. So I
Yep.
love that you are bringing this Um, neuromuscular therapy at the root of everything, which speaks to
Hmm.
my nerd. I love the science behind it all. I really do. I love that you're bringing this um, very, I think, in my opinion, easy to understand healing modality to people and showing them, hey, listen, we can use your body as a roadmap.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. It's it's very kind of backwards, I feel like, because I'm deconstructing the trigger. I'm deconstructing where it lives. I'm taking it apart the same way that you would a massage, right? We start with an area that's knotted up and we start peeling everything back and relaxing it.
Hmm.
And as you relax one muscle, you find a muscle that goes another direction underneath, and then you find a muscle that goes another direction. And it's all connected in this little 3D model that's walking around and is acting and feeling and believing. And it's not disconnected. Like all of those things are very, very, very innately connected. So for me, it was just my natural progression. Like I started with massage therapy and then started to find all of these other things. So still like coming into it, um,
Hmm.
I feel like I should say this, but also with somebody who has severe CPTSD, um, which is like a complex or chronic PTSD. It's the same thing. I've spent so much of my life taking apart these triggers so that I could regain an aspect of myself that when I see somebody else going through it, it's hard for me to just watch them and like leave them alone, right? You can
Yeah,
see it in their face, you can see it in their heart. I know that's a strange statement, but you can really see their when somebody's emotionally shut down, it takes a presence over them. Um,
absolutely.
and the process of even pulling myself out of those things, it was a shedding. It was this like peeling things back until I could finally get myself out from underneath kind of these long acting hormonal reactions, right? Because anything that
Hmm.
lasts longer than, 90 minutes to I think a day, maybe 2 days max, is a very intense hormonal reaction. It's your hormones that create those long acting responses to things. So if you're in those states, you're having a hormonal reaction. The only way to begin to really change those is through your food and through how you're feeling and experiencing that. And that's like the first step to actually being able to unlock your health if you have an autoimmune disease or other things along those lines, where you can hit a plateau and not really understand why you're stuck. You have to go into
Love
a,
that you just,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead, finish.
I was going to air quotes nervous system because you have all these people saying you have to fix your nervous system. I'm like, no, that's your body. That's you. Love yourself.
It's
Don't treat
literally all
yourself
of
as an
you.
exterior object that's wrong and has to be fixed, corrected, and is not good. No, no, no. It's great. It's been doing what it needs to. We're wonderful. And I love myself.
It's
And
actually
let's
stellar.
start from there.
Yes. I remember when I used to work with clients individually, I used to say, like, first things first, you're not broken.
Yeah.
People would come and they would find me as like a last resort. And I would say, "Okay, can we just start from a place of not broken? Your body
Yeah.
is doing a really fucking raging of a job keeping you
Yep.
together. Like you just walked in
Yep.
here. That's huge. That's an accomplishment. I get it. You're in 360 pain 24/7. Got it.
Yeah.
However, you're still upright. You're still waking up in the morning. And sometimes your benchmark is that low. And that's what needs to get changed. So let's get down there. Let's play in that instead.
Yep.
I love that you brought
Absolutely.
up nutrition.
Hmm.
Um, for me on my journey, I would say I look back and I think nutrition was pretty early on in my
Hmm.
healing journey where I did the best with what we had, right? So it was how about we not buy anything in a wrapper and just go with fresh foods. And
Good
then when we
job.
were able, it went from fresh foods to organic fresh foods. It's like it just
Yeah.
was like this gradual scale. I mean, listen, luckily I started it early enough that my kids were young. So
Yeah.
now they are young adults seeking out these better foods because they know what kind of an impact they have on our bodies. But
Right.
can you please explain for the listener why it's so important and why their diet is quite oftentimes the most perfect place to start?
So, for me personally, I'm going to start with a personal story. I have Graves' disease, which is
Mm,
hyperthyroidism, which is basically a metabolism that is 10x the average person. So anything that I feel is 10x. Anything that I experience is 10x because I go from zero to high speed with it kind of like a Ferrari. It's 0 to 60. It's just up and gone. The everything has left and is off on its own, and I am screaming on the ride. So I've always
yeah.
been kind of a queen of hangry. I'm so hungry that I am angry. And I notice that when my physical energy is low, when I'm not feeding my body properly, that for me personally, like I want to kind of like bite other people. Like I want to take a
Mm,
bite out of them. Like I'm so mad that I just kind of I want a reaction out of everybody. And that little like stealing of energy kind of brings me up. But I didn't like that. It's a very sharp tongue. Wanted to be rude to like not that I wanted to be rude, like I would just be mean to people that were serving me food, not intentionally, but like I was trying to be so far, like so quickly to the point that it was like I was just kind of like stabbing their hand every time they tried to like bring me something.
yeah,
And
yeah. Bite
when
the
I,
hand that feeds you. Yes.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So just working with the client, a lot of people don't realize when they get into that state. A lot of people don't even like realize that they can check in and be like, am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I stressed?
Right.
Where is this really coming from? There's that like separation that they think, oh, everyone's just wants to fight with me today. And don't realize that they got up at 6 a.m. when they usually get up at 8. They didn't have a good breakfast. It was a bagel with a little tiny bit of cream cheese. So they've underfed their body. They don't have the nutrients that they need to get through the day. They have all of these demands that they're trying to meet. And they've been drinking coffee, which actually suppresses your ability to feel. We think serotonin just puts you to sleep, but it's your long-term ability to feel accomplished. So we're suppressing our ability to
Wow.
feel like we accomplished something so that we
It's
continue
like
to
the
grind.
opposite of what people want.
Yeah. No, but it's great for an office. It's really great for an office. So good. And I'm a big fan. I love coffee. I have it every morning. It's a hard habit to break. Um, but you really like just don't realize how often these things kind of create these catalysts, and instead we focus on the fact that like I'm not really getting along with my spouse, or I'm not getting along with my kids, or I'm having these issues with my coworkers and people are telling me that I'm angry or that they've been having this experience and I'm not trying to do that. So you put the blame on yourself without even realizing that your blood sugar is just in complete havoc, that you're getting these really high pitches and these super high lows because we're used to it. Like our society, very much, we're dopamine hunters. It's the doom scrolling
Yeah.
gives you a hit every like 90 seconds when you find something that's really good. And we're wiring our nervous systems to kind of like do this unstable dance. So I
Hmm.
start with the nutrition and I encourage everybody to eat like a diabetic. I encourage everyone to eat like a diabetic. Do your best to do this. So you're going to do 50% of your plate is going to be nutritious, dense vegetables, green vegetables, the best that you can. Get as much color on your plate as possible. Then you're going to actually eat the vegetables first. And then you're going to move to your protein and you're going to have a quarter of your plate protein, which is actually going to give you a good amount of protein. It's going to help really fill you up. And then at the very end, do you eat your carbohydrates and try to go for a more complex carbohydrate? And that's going to fill you up longer and sustain your energy levels so that you're not getting stuck in these emotional pitches that are not yours. So if we're trying to like fix our relationship with our spouse that we're fighting with all the time, all of a sudden you don't have that like extra urge. You can come into it with more clarity. So when she snaps at you, you can kind of look at her. I don't know why I'm the man right now, but you can look at her and from a calm place, just see the reaction as something that's happening with them and then address it as finding out if they're okay and what needs to happen versus taking it personally and emotionally reacting because all of these other stresses and factors are pitching you into an unhealthy place. So handling that foundation for me is just where to start. Get the hormones
And
balanced.
it's an easy fix. It really is. And I love that it takes that blame game away. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between blaming yourself and taking accountability
Mm-hmm.
for who you are, how you're showing up in your actions, right? So if we can just replace blame with accountability, I think right there is a huge turning point. That's this light bulb moment
It's so
of
hard though.
holy shit. I
Blaming
can
other
take account.
people
Well,
serves
here's the
me.
thing. I mean, so there's that, right? So it takes a certain level of self-awareness, I guess,
Readiness.
and readiness for
Yeah.
sure, right? To be able to say all of my experiences are a reflection of what is happening internally and what I am sort of putting out into the world. So for me, it was I just didn't want I'm trying to think back. It was so long ago that I changed my diet. But I truly just didn't want crazy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want crazy. And I started to recognize that um the way I experience the world is through my own personal lens. So my lens is constructed by um how I see it, how I smell it, how I hear it, how I touch it, right? How I feel it. That is going to be dictated if I pull at that string, go back farther. That is a functionality of my body. Great. So if my body needs to function better, then it needs better fuel is what it comes down to. And so what's the best fuel for me? Well, I love that. Half a plate of vegetables. Like you just described my plate at every meal. Half a
Yeah.
plate of vegetables, a quarter plate of protein, and a quarter plate of a carbohydrate. I don't eat them in that order
Yeah.
necessarily.
It's hard to not just dive straight into the carbohydrates. That's the best part.
I mean, the sweet potato just looks so good.
Right? Right?
So yummy. It's like dessert on my plate. So
Yeah.
I tend to give myself that treat first.
Yep.
But I love that. So after nutrition, where would you go after that?
So I'm still going to focus on physicality and we're going to talk about how often you exercise, right? Because we've already talked about the emotional state and where all of that is happening. So in order to start to get your body physically regulated, starts with food. And then from there, it's exercise. So if you are having all of these negative emotions, on a consistent basis, I want to start changing the hormonal base. So I want you to start
Mm,
exercising so you can speed your metabolism and start burning them out. I want you not burn out your hormones, but literally use up and move out, right? So get all of the excess that you've been experiencing out of your body. So that's going to be speeding up your lymphatic system. That's going to be the exercise. Exercise increases testosterone in men and women, which is not a hormone just for men. Women have it too. It still is a huge contributor or the contributor to our sex
hmm
drive. And someone who goes from kind of being sexless to somebody who all of a sudden is interested in people around them is going to engage with the world. So just starting to like help your hormonal base hit a consistency in general. It's not just the food, it has to be in your physical movement as well. So that would be the next step, is talking about exercises. If they do have a physical injury, we'll look at the posture and what is kind of holding them back and help them figure out how to begin to like hold their body in a way that will allow them to increase their movement. So I've had clients that were very healthy, that were pro athletes, to clients who were bedridden. I had one person that lied to get in my program, and he did fantastically. Yeah,
He was
memory lane.
motivated.
He was. He was. I was very surprised, but he was sleeping on a board on his bed in order to like not be in the level of pain. But he had adopted this thing where he'd literally like slide a chunk of wood underneath him, and that was the only way he could sleep without pain.
See what I mean? We accommodate dysfunction. It's incredible.
Yeah.
We are really imaginative, really creative, and sometimes we use it to prolong pain, to accommodate dysfunction.
It's so counterintuitive
Yeah.
to make the corrections, because the corrections are painful and your body is designed to protect itself. So you need someone. Like you can probably do it on your own. If it's long-term chronic pain, I don't really think that you can. Like if it's already become extreme physical pain, I don't think you can do it on your own. You might be able to. You might be able to. If you really have no options and can't find someone, you might be able to get yourself there to where you're fed up enough that you're willing to kind of really address that accountability and get at it every day until you're capable of moving through those things. But having someone to assist you through that, I think, is very, very important. Just because you cannot rely on your own senses in order to help you meet that end, because it's just, your body is just trying to protect itself. It's trying to keep you safe, keep you centered, and keep you as healthy as possible. And if our daily patterns kind of encroach on that edge and create that like heavy pain, we're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. You need someone to help kind of guide you through those junctions, those access points, those 3 times where you're going to really think that you're completely lost or lost to it. Because you'll believe it. You'll
Could
get into
not
that
agree more.
pain. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think it's invaluable if you're able to work with someone like yourself. It's invaluable to be able to have someone say, I think we can go farther. I think you can do more.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, listener, I'm a firm believer of a quarter inch is better than 0. A little can go a long way, just something more. And if you're someone who's been in chronic pain and you haven't moved in years, 30 seconds is going to be better than 0. 30 seconds. Something is better than nothing. Always. 100% of the time, something is better than nothing.
Well, and it always begins in those little baby steps.
Yeah.
It always begins.
Yeah.
The couple of clients that I've had that were bedridden, it was definitely like that. It was, let's clean up the way that you're eating. And then today we're going to do this. And then the next time it was, today we're going to do that and a little bit more. A little bit more. Trust me, I'm right here. I can help you.
And when you fall, I'm here to catch you. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep.
Oh, this is so wonderful. This is so fantastic. Thank you for being here with me. I
Yeah,
love that
absolutely.
this is an introductory conversation about how we can all start seeing our bodies differently, to see our bodies as not necessarily attacking itself and attacking us, but actually working with us to stay safe. It's just that the benchmark is very low, and that benchmark sometimes is just stay alive and wake up the next day. So to work with you, to raise that benchmark, to get more and more juice out of the fruit, to get more and more movement out of a body, more and more expression out of a lifetime, I think is
Mm,
amazing. So,
yeah.
Azlynn, please tell us, where can people find you? How can they work with you?
Go to my website, which is emotionalarchitecture.us, not .com, but .us. That's the easiest way to find me. You can also find me on Instagram. It is emotional architecture, but after the E, I have a little dash on the bottom and then emotional architecture, E dash emotional
Okay.
architecture. Yep. So those are the easiest ways to
And
find me.
listeners, I will have that all in the show notes. So if you want to learn more, just scroll on down, get the information, click on the different links, and then reach out to Azlynn to learn more about who you are, what you're experiencing, and how you can have a brilliant existence instead of just existing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Azlynn.
Thank you. It was fun. We'll see you again soon, I think.
Absolutely. Before you go, Find Your Flow is now on YouTube. Subscribe to Find Your Flow with Lisa Roche and set your notifications to catch every episode as they are released. Joining this beautiful Find Your Flow community allows your energy to be included in every healing meditation. So subscribe and follow. And if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to share it with anyone else you think would enjoy it as well.